Good evening. The time is 5 o'clock, and here's our news at 5. First, the top stories. Construction of Abeokuta City Center project begins at OK level. Ogun to reintroduce mobile court to try sanitation offenders in the state. Yoruba Igbo leaders meet demand restructuring of the country. Presidency asks National Assembly to fast-track passage of 2018 budget bill. Trump lashes at migrants from Africa and Latin America. Migrants missing after boat capsized off Venezuela. I am Tobi Joseph, bringing you the news in details shortly. The construction of projects in the proposed Abeokuta city center in the Okelewo axis of the Ogun State capital has begun. Major projects to be located in the proposed city center included the shopping mall of Africa's largest goods retailer, ShopRite, service apartment, hotel, and amphitheater. Other projects are the corporate office of GT Bank PLC and First Bank PLC, whose construction had already begun. The proposed corporate offices, including a 12-story building, will control the activities of the banks in West Africa. Governor Biklamuso, who made this known during a visit to the project site, says contractors have started mobilizing to site of the project, which are being undertaken by the state government and its corporate partners. Another major project that will be located in the city center, according to the governor, is the central station of the federal government rail project. The governor explains that the project will be private sector driven, while the state government will only construct the amphitheater. He assures that the city center project will be completed within the next 24 months. The promoter of the proposed ShopRite project, Tayo Amuso, says the mega supermarket, when completed, will be the second largest in Nigeria. Ogun State government is to reintroduce a mobile courts to sanction people who flout the state environmental sanitation law. The offences include the indiscriminate dumping of refuse on both sides, road medians, and drainages. Environment Commissioner Bolajo Yeleye, who made this known at a news conference in Abeokuta, says the mobile courts will be sited in the three senatorial districts of the state. He explained that the mobile courts serving Ogun Central will be refurbished, while two new ones will be procured for the other two senatorial districts. Oyeleye says the ministry had also reinforced its Task 14 to arrest violators of the state environmental sanitation law. The commissioner also announced the decision of his ministry to fully enforce the law on sinking of borehole for the extraction of water for commercial purpose in the state this year. He says the state government had obtained approval of the federal government last November to enforce the law in the state. Meanwhile, Ogun State government is to sign a memorandum of understanding with private waste management companies to scale up the waste collection in the state. Commissioner for Environment Bolajo Yeleye, who made this known at a news conference in Abeokuta, says the agreement will be signed in a few weeks from now.
The collection arm of our waste management. So we are at the point where we are finalizing on the memorandum of understanding. We are almost completing on that, and by the time we sign off, which I believe should be in the next few weeks, you will see noticeable difference of activities around collection, particularly
The private management of waste collection, the commissioner explained, will compel people in the state to pay for the disposal of their waste and end the dumping of waste indiscriminately on the roadside. Leaders from the southwest and southeast have called for stronger regional cooperation between Igbo and Yoruba to move Nigeria forward. The leaders will made a call at a conference called the Handshake Across the Nigeria, held in Enugu, with some leaders from the Middle Belt and Southern regions in attendance. In a communique issued at the end of the meeting, they called for the implementation of the 2014 National Conference report and restructuring of the nation. They promised that the handshake will eventually be extended to the South-South, Middle Belt, and other parts of the North. They said that the Joint Act Committee has been set up to actualize the objectives. Those at the event include Chief Ayo Adebanjo, the Obi of Onitsha, former Governor Chukwemeka Ezefe, Chief John Onyanwodo, former Governor Olusegun Mimiko, Senators Yenaya Baribe and Femi Okuromu, as well as Chief Olufalaye. Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed of Kwara State has called for a drastic cut in the percentage of the counterpart fund payable by the state government to access the programs of the Universal Basic Education Board. Alternatively, the governor advocates the deletion of counterpart fund from the UBEC Act. Ahmed made a call while receiving the UBEC Commission's monitoring team at the Government House in Ilori. The governor calls for the reduction of the counterpart fund payable by the state from 50% to 10% to enable most of the state to participate in UBEC program. He explained that most of the state governments cannot afford the 50% counterpart funding due to a sharp drop in their revenue. Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State says he cautioned Governor Samuel Otam against going ahead with the anti-open grazing law in Benue State. Lalong recalls telling Governor Otam not to implement the law. The governor made this known while speaking with State House correspondent after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa Abuja. According to the governor, it is wrong for Benue State government to have gone ahead with the enforcement of the anti-grazing law without providing an alternative for cattle breeders in the state. He explained that Plateau State, which once was a hotbed of herdsmen and farmers' clashes, has been enjoying peace because his administration brought all the major stakeholders together. Governor Long says he backs the proposed cattle colony project that is being planned by the federal government to discourage the movement of cattle across farmlands nationwide. Fresh explosion has rocked the strategic Escravos Lagos gas pipeline. The explosion was recorded at the Gbekodo Omodion segment of the pipeline in the Warri South local government area of Delta State. Group Managing Director of Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NPC), Dr. Mekante Baru, directed immediate repair of the damaged section of the pipeline. He also directed the supply of gas from other sources such as Ugeli, Oturogo, Oben, Edo, and Sapele to meet a shortfall of supply from the gas pipeline. The explosion is coming 4 days after the reopening of the gas pipeline, which was rocked by explosion last week. The last week's explosion at the pipeline, caused by bushfire in Ondo State, cut off gas supply to power plants in Ondo, Lagos, and Edo State. The explosion last week led to the collapse of the national electricity grid. You're still listening to the World News at 5 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we'll bring you foreign, business, and sport news. Please do stay with us. US President Donald Trump has reportedly lashed out at immigrants in a foul-mouthed Oval Office outburst. Mr. Trump demands of lawmakers why the US are having people from shithole countries. According to the Post, Mr. Trump told lawmakers the US should instead be taking in migrants from countries like Norway, whose prime minister visited him a day earlier. The remark was reportedly in reference to people from Haiti, El Salvador, and African countries. Mr. Trump's remark reportedly came as the lawmakers from both parties visited him to propose a bipartisan immigration deal. Democratic Senator Richard Durbin had just been discussing U.S. temporary residency permits granted to citizens of countries hit by natural disasters, war, or epidemics, says U.S. media. Police on the Dutch Caribbean island of Curacao are searching for a group of 30 illegal migrants after their boat sank during a sea crossing from Venezuela. 4 Venezuelans are known to have died when the overloaded craft hit the rocks. Curacao's Coast Guard has reported a growing number of vessels making a dangerous journey from Venezuela, which is mired in a severe economic crisis. President Nicolas Maduro cut transport links to Dutch Caribbean territories last week to prevent smuggling. The boat was reported to have been carrying around 30 people when it left La Vela de Coro in Venezuela's northwestern Falcon state. The boat had been overloaded when it hit rocks not far from the coast after its precarious 128 kilometers journey from Venezuela. Last week, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro ordered a halt to all air and sea travel to the islands of Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba in order to prevent smuggling of Venezuelan goods by what he called mafias. In business, the presidency has pleaded with the National Assembly to quicken its deliberation and passage of the 2018 appropriation bill. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who made the call, also pleaded with the federal ministries and departments to appear promptly before the National Assembly to defend their 2018 budgetary allocations. As at the last budget of Buhari administration, he explained that early passage of the bill will enable it to meet promises made to the electorate during the 2015 polls. Most of our appearing before the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Relations says the time is very short for the effective implementation of the 2018 budget. According to him, 2018 is an election year, which means that political activities will begin in February and political office holders have up till November to fully implement this year's budget. By November, Mustafa says politicians will engage in political activities and have little time for budget implementation. Finally, the one news of 5 Sport News. Scottish club Aberdeen has signed Manchester City's Nigerian midfielder Chidiebere Nwakali on loan until the end of the season. The 21-year-old has been on City's books since 2014, but has spent most of his time out on loan at various clubs, including Malaga, Girona, and Norway's Sogndal, where he scored 4 times in 26 appearances in last year's Tippeligan. Manager Derek Sinis told Aberdeen's website that Manchester City have been very keen for Chidi to get some competitive game time. He said it is a deal that the club have been working on for a couple of months now. Onwakali, according to him, will be a positive addition to the club. Onwakali, who won the Under-17 World Cup with Nigeria's Golden Eaglet in 2013, will need to obtain a work permit for the move to be confirmed. That was the one news at 5, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Construction of Abeokuta City Centre project begins at Okelewo. Ogun State to reintroduce mobile courts to try sanitation offenders in the state. Yoruba Igbo leaders meet demand restructuring of the country. Presidency asks National Assembly to fast-track passage of the 2018 budget bill. Donald Trump lashes at migrants from Africa and Latin America. Migrants missing after boat capsized off Venezuela. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tobi Joseph. Good evening.